I'm going to keep this review of M3GAN spoiler free, because even though they give a lot away in the trailer, the less you know about it, the better. And that's pretty much any movie really. But the first thing I want to mention is the PG-13 rating. Now, I'm not a big fan of PG-13 horror, but this is a horror comedy. So don't go in there expecting like a straight up crazy violent horror movie. But really, the PG-13 rating didn't bother me, and if I didn't know what this was rated and I just saw this blind, it wouldn't even cross my mind. In fact, the only thing I didn't like about the PG-13 rating is that there was actual 13-year-olds in my theater, and they were messing around on their phones the whole time. Like even taking selfies with the flash on. It was so annoying. To the point where other people in the theater were telling them to stop it, and they would just laugh. Pretty annoying. But anyway, don't let the PG-13 rating make you skip this. In the trailer, when they show M3GAN the doll, they showed parts that just made her seem like a lady wearing a rubber mask and didn't seem like a robot. But in the movie, they actually do a good job with it. She moves like a robot, sounds like a robot, and I could switch my brain off and just believe that I'm looking at a robot. So I did like that. I liked the M3GAN effect. And I called it a horror comedy, but the comedy and the satire in this isn't so over the top that it becomes distracting. They didn't make anybody too villainous or too goofy. And it sounds silly to say, but the characters all seemed pretty realistic. Whereas horror movies sometimes go over the top, making you hate the people in them. The characters were as realistic as they could be in a movie like this. And I thought the acting was pretty decent. Allison Williams, who is one of the main characters, was fine. But Violet McGraw, who plays the little girl, was surprisingly good. And usually little kids in movies are terrible and it kind of takes me out of the storytelling, but she was very good in it. And everybody else isn't going to win an Oscar or anything, but they were fine. And it wasn't distracting. They played the roles as well as they could have. I will say that the beginning seemed a little bit slow until M3GAN shows up. When she's on screen, it really is fascinating. And with her as well, they don't go over the top. This isn't child's play. And M3GAN isn't cracking jokes all the time. She does somewhat seem like an AI. I'm not sure how long the movie is, but it didn't seem long. I wouldn't call it fast-paced, but it's paced well. I was never bored. Even though I said it was slow at the beginning, I think it just seems that way because I want M3GAN to show up, right? But they do a good job to set up the little girl's emotional state in this. And this movie does have some surprisingly emotional depth to it. I know that's funny to say for a movie about a killer doll. And maybe I went in with very low expectations, but I was surprised with how much I liked it in the end. And I definitely recommend it. When I score movies from 1 to 10, I don't really compare them to other movies. I just think about, did this do what it set out to do? And I think M3GAN did. It's a fun, brisk horror comedy with a very interesting villain. I would almost say iconic villain, maybe, with above average acting for a horror comedy, with some good laughs and some very creepy moments. So I would give M3GAN a 9 out of 10. It did exactly what it needed to do.